Today I will be ranking the worst financial mistakes you can make while you are in your 20s. Look, your 20s are a wild time. I get it. I'm in my 20s too. At this age, we are figuring out who we are. You are maybe stepping into your first real job and making actual money. But it is incredibly easy to screw up, and honestly, almost everyone makes at least one or two of these mistakes. The problem is that some of these mistakes are just small you can easily get out of, while others are massive problems that will completely destroy your financial future for decades, and maybe you even become homeless. To keep this simple and incredibly easy to understand, I am breaking these mistakes down into a classic tier list. We have 4 categories: financial hell for the absolute worst traps, huge setback for things that will seriously slow you down, bad financial decision for stuff you should generally avoid, and finally, you'll be alright for the minor mistakes that actually teach you a valuable lesson. Let's start by looking at the mistakes that fall into the lowest tier. These are your learning mistakes. The first one is losing money on a single individual stock. Maybe you did a ton of research on a trendy tech company like I did with SpaceX, IPO, bought some shares, and the stock went down 20%, forcing you to sell at a loss. It hurts, but it is just a learning mistake. It teaches you about risk without destroying your life. The same goes for losing money on a failed side hustle or business idea, like when I lost $3,000 on Facebook ads with my dropshipping store when I was 19. If you spend $500 on car washing equipment or business cards for a startup and the business fails after a month, that is totally okay. At least you took the risk, learned how a business works, and gained experience. You're down a few $100, but you are not ruined. Another one in the safe tier is not looking for a new job when you already have one. If you stay at a comfortable job for 4 years without interviewing elsewhere, you might be leaving money on the table, but your life isn't falling apart. You are stable, you have security, and you can change your path whenever you are wanted. Moving up the ladder, let's talk about the bad financial decision tier. These are the small daily habits and mistakes that quietly bleed your wallet dry every single month without you even realizing. The biggest problem here are subscriptions. It starts completely innocently. You get Netflix, then Prime, then YouTube Premium, then Spotify, and suddenly you look at your bank statement and realize you're paying over $100 a month for digital content you barely want. Even worse, companies keep raising prices and adding ads unless you pay a premium. The next trap in this tier is buy now, pay later services like Affirm or Klarna. This stuff is an absolute plague for young adults. When you buy a $3,000 computer online and the website offers to let you pay $180 a month, your brain plays a dangerous trick on you. It creates a false sense of affordability. It tricks you into thinking the item doesn't actually cost $3,000. Before you know it, you have 5 different installment payments stacked up for shoes, clothes, and gadgets. You are literally going into debt for temporary items that you might not even be using by the time the 20-month payment plan finally ends. We also have to throw overpaying on insurance and eating out too much into this category. Most young adults don't know that you can actually shop around for car insurance. If you just stick with the same company for years, you are probably throwing away $50 to $100 a month that you could save by simply calling a competitor and getting a bundled quote. And eating out for pure convenience, especially using food delivery apps, is a massive financial mistake. Paying $20 for a fast food meal to be delivered to your door when you could buy healthy ingredients at the grocery store for a fraction of the cost adds up to thousands of dollars of wasted cash by the end of the year. Now we are entering the huge setback tier. If you commit these mistakes, future doesn't look bright for you, my friend, because you are setting yourself back by 5 to 10 years in your financial journey. The prime example here is waiting to invest and ignoring your Roth IRA. When you are 21, retirement feels like it is a million years away. You tell yourself, I'll start saving when I'm 30 and making real money. But that is a monumental mathematical mistake because you are completely throwing away the power compound interest. Thanks to the magic of compounding, if you invest money from the age of 20 to 30 and then completely stop, you will often end up with way more money by the time you retire than someone who starts at age 30 and invests consistently for 30 years. A Roth IRA allows your money to grow completely tax-free, meaning when you pull $1 million out at age 65, the government cannot touch a single penny of it. Waiting to start, even if you can only afford to invest $5 a day, is an absolute tragedy for your future self. Another massive mistake is treating your 20s like you have endless time to fix things. This is a dangerous mental trap. Young adults tell themselves, I can make completely stupid, chaotic choices right now because I'm young, and I'll just clean up the mess when I turn 30. But time speeds up dramatically the older you get. Bad financial habits, bad relationships with money, and poor career decisions are incredibly difficult to rip out when you are older. If you instead use your 20s to build a solid foundation like me, trying to build this channel or other business, your 30s and 40s will be absolute smooth if you lock in. Finally, not creating an emergency fund also belongs. An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved safely away in a savings. If you don't have this, the very first time your car breaks down or you face a sudden medical bill, all your regular cash is completely wiped out, forcing you to rely rely on high-interest loans just to survive. Now we have officially reached the top of the tier list. These will completely destroy your credit score, wipe out your saving, and trap you in a cycle of poverty or extreme stress that can take a lifetime to escape. First up is high-interest credit card debt. Credit cards are fantastic tools if you pay the balance off in full every single month. But the second you start carrying a balance at a 24% interest rate, you are trapped. If you only make the minimum payments on a $500 balance, the credit card company's own app will tell you that it will take you nearly a decade to pay it off. You end up paying double or triple what the original items were actually worth. Next on the hell list is gambling. Like, don't get me wrong, I made a lot of money and wagered over 50,000 playing dice, but that was because I was lucky. And in the beginning, I was in the negative around $400, but that's for another story. With sports betting apps getting pushed by every celebrity and influencer on the planet, gambling has become a massive, highly addictive trap for young men in their 20s. It started as a fun $10 bet and quickly grow into losing your entire paycheck and your savings. We also have to talk about co-signing for other people. Never, under any circumstances, attach your name to someone else's car loan, apartment lease, or credit line. It does not matter how much you love your friend or trust your family member. If they miss a payment, stop paying, or ruin their credit, you are legally 100% responsible for their debt. It will ruin your credit score and completely block you from buying your own house or car. Finally, the ultimate pillars of financial hell are lifestyle and taking on massive student debt for low-paying careers. Expensive lifestyle happens when you get a nice raise at work, and instead of saving or investing that extra money, you instantly upgrade your life. You buy a brand new car with a massive $400 monthly payment, or you move into a luxury apartment you don't need. You're suddenly making great money, but taking home absolutely zero savings because you are spending it all to impress people who don't care. And taking out $100,000 in student loans to get a degree that only lands you a $50,000 a year job. Live below your means, protect your credit, and respect the power of your cash while you are young. And this will be all from me today. Thank you for watching, and please guys, don't be stupid. See you in the next one.